This is chapter 42 of The Night Singer. 42. For a few seconds after Rebecca awoke, she felt happy, but reality quickly caught up with her. Joel was gone. She felt like screaming and had to press her knuckles to her mouth to stop herself. Didn't want to give Petrie yet another reason to worry. Did he even miss Joel? It didn't seem like it. Rebecca reached for her phone on the bedside table and checked the time. 9:15. She must have managed to get a couple of hours of sleep after all. There were a few new messages from people in town, from old friends and relatives, all saying they were thinking of her. It was so strange to see who got in touch and who didn't. She was still getting calls from journalists, but nowhere near as persistently. Perhaps they had finally worked out that she didn't want to talk. Then she remembered Axel's interview. That must be it. They had already found their grieving parent. Still no word from Gabriel. The only message Rebecca cared about was the most recent one, sent by Hannah a few minutes earlier. Call me. She was about to do just that when the door opened and Molly came padding into the room in her unicorn jumpsuit. Her face lit up when she saw that Rebecca was awake. Are you getting up now? Soon. Daddy's making pancakes. Petrie had probably sent her up. He knew the chances of Rebecca coming down to eat were higher that way. It was the same trick she had used on Joel, and she felt a jolt in her chest. I'll be down in a minute, she said. I just need to make a call. I'll wait here. No, sweetie, I need to be alone. Her daughter's face crumpled with disappointment, and Rebecca hurried to say that she wanted a hug first. Molly ran over, and Rebecca buried her nose in the well-worn fabric, breathing in her scent. You can let me go now, Molly said, giggling. Rebecca waited until she heard her footsteps on the stairs, then dialed Hannah's number. Do you have any news? She asked. Do you know who killed Joel? Not yet, unfortunately, said Hannah, but there's something I need to ask. Hannah paused, and Rebecca felt her anxiety level shoot up. Had they found something illegal from the previous owner on Joel's computer, or had he done something awful himself? Something far worse than smoking a bit of hash? It felt like she was at the start of something she didn't want to get to the bottom of. Was Joel gay? Rebecca needed a few seconds to breathe through the terrible scenarios that had begun playing out in her mind. Why are you asking me that? I'm sorry, said Hannah, but I can't say. Rebecca searched for a good answer, but drew a complete blank. I don't know, she replied as the tears began to roll down her cheeks. Hannah sensed some of what her tears conveyed. But you suspected he was? I thought he could be. And you never talked to him about it? No, I assumed he would bring it up when he was ready. Hannah kept quiet, which Rebecca took as criticism. I know I should have. No, Hannah interrupted. Stop that. There's nothing you could have done that would have changed what happened. So far, we have no idea what the motive could have been, or whether there even was one. But we have to turn over every last stone. The firmness in Hannah's voice was slightly reassuring. I promise to let you know whatever I can if anything changes. Thanks. Rebecca had to compose herself for a moment before she went down to Petrie, Molly, and their pancakes. Yes, she had heard some of the other children call her son F-slur, but they had done it before Joel could really have felt that kind of attraction either way. She also remembered the nicknames from her own school days. They were all so cruel and with such shaky connections to reality. Joel had always been on the small side, and beautiful, so incredibly beautiful. Rebecca raised her palms to her cheeks. She couldn't start crying again now. She would never make it out of bed if she did. Molly's face lit up as she stepped into the kitchen. I thought you'd gone back to sleep, but Daddy says I wasn't allowed to go upstairs again. Rebecca kissed her on the temple and sat down beside her. Petrie could see that something was bothering her, but she shook her head. Not yet. I bet your perverted boyfriend did it. Axel's words came back to her, but she forced herself to ignore them. It was insane that he could still knock her off balance like that. And why did he write boyfriend when he knew they were married? Petrie meant more to her than Axel ever had. Rebecca raised a forkful of pancake to her mouth. You forgot the jam, said Molly. Uh-oh, maybe you can help me? Rebecca smiled at her daughter, who squeezed a sticky blob of jam onto her pancake in return. Look, it's a rabbit, Molly chirped. Rebecca's phone began ringing, and she answered without thinking. Hello, this is Veronica Kranz again from Expression. Joel's father, Axel Stanson, is currently being held in custody on suspicion of murder. Do you have anything to say about that?